Once upon a time, many centuries ago, across the vast Thar Desert, there came a caravan. It was a small group of singers from Sindh. After days and nights of traveling, they settled down in a village in the western part of Rajasthan. Naik Muhammad has grown up with the folklore, legends and ballads of Rajasthan. One such is the story of Mumal. Mumal was the beautiful princess of Jaisalmer, and many suitors came to woo her. But Mumal's heart waited for another. One day, the dashing prince of Amarkot, Mahendra, came to Mumal. It was love at first sight, and Mahendra gave Mumal a ring to pledge his troth. A small misunderstanding caused Mahendra to stop visiting Mumal. A forlorn Mumal set out to seek her Mahendra. Mumal finally arrived at Amarkot, only to die of exhaustion and a broken heart. Dawn breaks over Barnava. This is where Naik Muhammad lives, along with the other Langa families in the border district of Barmer. Barnava is a magical village. Every home here reverberates to the sound of music. Melody and rhythm are the warp and weft of Langa life. There is, of course, the business of day-to-day living, work to be done, chores to be performed. But it is all done to the background of music. And for the Langa men, music is both their life and vocation. Music is such an intrinsic part of their life. It might be true to say that Langa children sing before they speak. It is a part of all their childhood games. The words may be incomprehensible, but the melody is a loved and familiar one. There is no formal training for the boys, but when a child such as Abdul shows exceptional promise, he is taken as a pupil by a senior Langa. There is an initiation ceremony, and the boy accepts a guru to guide him. Nek Muhammad invokes the blessings of Ali as he takes young Abdul under his wing. The ceremony is a perfect blend of Hindu and Muslim traditions. If the blessings are those of Ali, the symbols are the auspicious coconut and colored thread, sacred to the Hindus. It is a moment of piety and joyful celebration, and the entire village turns out in strength to participate. There are no formal lessons for Abdul, yet he must learn to observe and to imbibe the technique and the nuances that will make him a master of the craft. And the first step towards this is the sarangi, the eponymous instrument of the Sarangi Langas. The desert is Abdul's classroom. The stark landscape is reflected in the plaintive strains of the sarangi, and man's resurgent spirit finds expression in Nek's resonant voice. Abdul listens avidly. The rich treasure of Langa music is his to inherit, but it is an inheritance that he has to earn. And one day, Abdul is asked to sing with the senior Langas. It is a moment of truth, and Abdul's future as a singer hangs in the balance. Abdul passes the test with flying colors, and another Langa is born. Folk tales and legends are the very fabric of Langa life and music. Nek recalls one such story of how the first Langa came to be. Centuries ago, a young Rajput boy saw a procession of musicians go by. Fascinated by the music, he asked to be allowed to join them. He was told that only a Muslim could learn. Enthralled by the music, the boy converted to Islam. It is said that the Langas are the descendants of the boy who loved music. Nek Muhammad and the community at Barnava belong to the Sarangi Langas. They are traditionally Sarangi players, and it is this ancient string instrument that has influenced their music in style, composition, and song. The Langas earn their livelihood by singing at the home of their Jujman or patrons. Even today, they can be seen setting out on their camels to visit their patrons. Their patrons are the Sindhi Sipahis. For them, no celebration is complete without the Langas. Their music is an integral part of every occasion: births, weddings, religious ceremonies, and all festivals. After the initial greeting, Nek recites the genealogy of his patron. It has been memorized by Nek and his father and grandfather before him. As Nek fluently traces the family ancestry down 17 generations, Rajput names appear, suggesting the time of conversion to Islam. The Sindhi Sipahis are connoisseurs of music, and Nek values their appreciation. Nek is rewarded in both cash and kind. Today, as a special bonus, Nek leaves with a handsome steed. Naturally, this calls for a celebration. And what is a celebration without music and song? Today, Nek sings of a bashful bride awaiting her groom. He comes dressed in all his finery, and the final touch to his ensemble is a colorful handkerchief or Mumal. A new day begins with the morning namaz. The Langas are followers of Islam, and Nek regularly offers namaz 5 times a day. But like their music, which is free from conventional classical boundaries, so too is their religion. Nek is deeply influenced by Sufism, which is the mystic aspect of Islam. The Langas pay homage to the Sufi saint Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti of Ajmer. Their repertoire has verses from many Sufi poets, such as Khusro and Bulle Shah. Sufism accepts that there is only one universal truth, but it also accepts that the paths to God may be many and varied. The divine essence is present in all. And when you love God, or one cast in His image, with a passionate intensity, the emotion becomes sublime. Then, love of a beloved is no different from the love of God. The fluidity of Sufi thought, rich in imagery and emotion, moves freely from mosque to temple, from the divine munificence of Allah to the divine love of Krishna and Radha. Through the ages, Krishna has been immortalized as the divine lover. His love for his beloved Radha has symbolized the perfect union between man and God. Radha's love is without reason, logic, or wisdom. It is love in its purest form. It is love that is the ultimate surrender. If there is suffering and ecstasy because of love, there is life and an afterlife because of love. As playful as Krishna's childhood pranks and as colorful as his life and loves is the festival of Holi. It is the beautiful Hindu festival of colors. Colors that suffuse and enrich both the body and soul. Colors that transcend all barriers of caste, creed and religion. And of course, it is the mellifluous voices of the Langas that give a special meaning to the songs of Holi. The distinction of caste and religion are similarly diffused in a Langa wedding. A number of customs are common to both Hindus and Muslims. As everywhere else in the world, the women come into their own at a wedding. They insist on feeding the bridegroom pure ghee or clarified butter, perhaps to prepare him for the ordeal of marriage. The groom is dressed like a Rajput prince, but the wedding is solemnized by a mullah. There is all the exuberance of an Indian wedding, with music, dance and revelry. Times changed, and many of the Jujmans left the desert to seek their fortune in the bigger cities of Rajasthan. The desert was harsh, often inhospitable, and once the Jujmans left, many Langas fell on hard times. Naik too decided to look beyond the dunes of his village. It was not an easy decision. So far, Naik had never moved out from the familiar environs of his village. The past was behind him, the future uncertain. All he had was the courage of the moment, hope, and his music. When Naik arrived at Jodhpur, he was prepared to try his hand at anything, even casual labor. It was a testing time, and during the long, difficult days, Naik surrendered to the philosophy of the fakir. I rejoice and accept as a gift each day, to fast perchance or to feast this day. Jodhpur was a bewildering city. Naik explored the contrast between its narrow streets and the imposing ramparts of the majestic Mehrangarh fort. And everywhere he went, he poured his heart out in song. Gradually, the Langas found their feet in Jodhpur. They set up home in a colony on the outskirts of town. Life established a rhythm, a tempo once again. Their music was unique. Although in the folk tradition, it was often based in pure classical styles. Without any formal training and with a gift for improvisation, the Langas presented an entirely new genre of music. And suddenly, the Langas were everywhere, for everyone. They sang in forts, palaces, and havelis. The words of the songs were unimportant. It was their tremendous zest for life, their delight in their music that found an instant rapport with their listeners. The five-star hotels, wealthy connoisseurs of music, senior officials and decision makers took note of the Langas. Naik knew deep within him that he would survive the travails of the recent past. He also knew, with even greater certainty, that it was music that would take him to his destiny. As audiences discovered the Langas, they became major tourist attractions in Rajasthan. The media loved them, and television networks covered their performances. Naik and his companions organized themselves to meet, on their own terms, audiences in other cities in India and the world. And the world welcomed them with open arms. Their music transcended mere rhythm and melody. It was evocative of hope and joy, love and grief, universal emotions that touched a chord everywhere they went. And one day, Naik returned to Barnava, his home. Naik had been away many years, but as the notes of the sarangi, khartal and dholak mingled with his voice, it was as if the separation had never been. The entire village came out to greet him, to give a hero's welcome to the man who had come home again. But Naik is no cardboard hero. He carries now the weight of a new responsibility. He has learned the value of the priceless legacy he has inherited, one which he must nurture and pass on to the new generation. Yet Naik today is a man content. He believes that the Langas will rise above the narrow necessities of life to achieve their rightful place in the world of music. And he sees in the face of young Abdul the resplendent future of the Langas.